Okay, so basically, yesterday I was explaining to your colleagues about a pharmacy that we do business with, and or rather two pharmacies. One does a monthly turnover of about 20 million in one of their branches. Another one does a monthly turnover of about close to 30-40 million per month in one of the branches. And I remember for one of them about 3 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, the MD came to me and said, see, my business seems to be stagnating, what do I need to do? So one of the things we did after I had a series of sessions with him, and one of the things I also recommended was, I said, see, visit this ABCD pharmacies and high-end supermarket. Observe, just go around, observe what they do, and come and compare it with your own. By the time I went to his shop the next week, he has moved out all his shelves and changed all the new shelves. Changed with a new set of shelves. I said, what happened? He said, well, where you sent me, I know why you sent me. You don't need to tell me. So part of the things we are looking at is there are ways to effectively manage a retail pharmacy that your sales will just, instead of going like this, will rise rapidly. Now, also like I shared with your colleagues yesterday, it's not really about, I won't expect you guys to copy and paste. I expect you to take what I've given you, process it, and come up with something new and unique. Such that, it's more like you send your child to school to read 1 + 1. Then when he comes in, he's doing algebraic equation and say, wow, I'm seeing dividend for my money. So that is what we are trying to achieve. So how do you start with growing sales in a pharmacy and running effectively? Number one is, the first aspect is having a story. One of the things I always start in sharing every seminar or every training I hold is I share my story. When we started, so initially I read pharmacy, but when I was filling my JAMB form, why I feel pharmacy was that I looked at JAMB form. Me and Father Mas had an agreement. He didn't like me and I didn't like it. So we mutually agreed to divorce. So he told me, don't do anything about me. I said, okay, don't show up in any of my certificates. So we parted ways. So based on our mutual agreement between me and Father Mas, I knew I couldn't do engineering. And because the doctors I knew then were not the kind of people I wanted to be when I grew up, so medicine too was off for me. And I had to go through JAMB Brochure to look for a course I would read. And as I was going through, I stumbled upon pharmacy. And the name sounded very nice to me. And I also saw radiography. The name sounded touche. And I picked pharmacy first choice, radiography second choice. By the time I was filling my JAMB form, I didn't actually know what a pharmacist did. But the name sounded very nice. So, but I realized that when I was studying pharmacy, that I loved my cousin that was reading marketing. Reading his textbooks was more like reading a novel to me. So when I eventually graduated as a pharmacist and I started to practice, I actually went into importation straight, which was a story for another day. I took a very big risk. And the business was going very well. And suddenly I got what I would call administration or whatever, and that I should start to teach people how to run businesses. I said, okay, I felt it was what I would be doing and be running my business too by the side, running my pharmacy importation business. And for some reasons, which I still find weird up to now, like you send some people, this product, we are importing this product, but the NAFDAC document is expiring next month. Please, can you renew it and send to us? They say, okay, we'll renew. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Because you don't have the documents, you can't import. And then my wage, I had about 9 staff. My monthly salary then was about, this was way back as 2018. My salary then per month was about 450,000. Now, because they will tell you that this thing will come in next month. So you can't tell your staff to everybody we are downsizing. 1 month turn into 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. Now when you multiply 450,000 by 7, and suddenly they say, oh boy, some of these documents we don't have it. And overnight, the business that was going like this just, and things got so tight then that when I had my son, then I would be praying, who would I call to tell him that my wife has given birth to? Because I was looking for is the money that they will give me when they came to see the baby that we'll use to sustain us for that week. But based on that experience, I now started to study why do businesses fail. So the more I was studying why businesses were failing, I started to see a trend on why businesses were failing. Now, that was when I started, around 2011, 2012, that was when I started to post on Facebook about business challenges and how to solve them. And I remember the first deal I got. I went to a school owner and saw this thing that she was doing. I said, madam, I think if you make this change and make that change in your business, I think it will improve. He said, true, nobody has told me about this. I never thought about it. So he said, you know what? I think I need to pay you for this idea. And the first decision I got on this was 80,000. And I did the next person, the next person, the next person. And before you know it, we got so big that we now have a complex that costs even the land where we built it now. A plot of land there goes for about something million. So check what it now costs to put a 2-story building on top of the property. So based on that, I know that because of my experience, I can come into any business and say, if you do this, your business will grow. And also because some of my people know this story, they know that we are passionate about making businesses become profitable and sustainable. Do you see our story? The same thing for any business. You guys must also have your own story. The MD should be able to craft your story such that anybody that comes in here will listen to your story and know that I want to be here. But most importantly, there's a story I always share to young people about why you need to be passionate about what you do. So there was this company that I was doing a training for like 3 years ago, and I asked one of them that didn't do well that year, why didn't she do well? She was giving all kinds of excuses. I just imagine that you are marketing in Ibadan, and you are supposed to go and sell a particular headache medicine that particular day, and because you felt, boy, it's raining, I'm not going to market that thing today. You stayed home, and there was a young boy in a taxi that was supposed to go and that the taxi driver was supposed to take to school. And when the taxi driver came into that pharmacy that he was supposed to supply medicine to and couldn't get that medicine, he decided to manage his headache. And the headache became so severe that he went into shock, had an accident, and the young boy's 2 legs were amputated. And 15 to 20 years down the line, one day, by that time you've gotten your young daughter who has gone to university. One day she comes home with a young man in a wheelchair and say, mother, this is who I want to marry. Say, wow, young man, so what happened? Say 20 years ago, they were taking me back to school. The taxi man went to a pharmacy to buy medicine, and they couldn't give him, so in the way he just dozed off, and maybe they gave him the wrong medicine, so he dozed off while he was driving and had an accident, and my leg had to be amputated. And suddenly it hits you that probably that was the area you were covering 20 years ago. And because you failed to do what you're supposed to do 20 years ago, your daughter now is now marrying somebody without limbs. Or for instance, you're working at Bakings, for instance, and a young man comes in to buy a particular medicine. I've seen where somebody gave, I think, oxytocin in place of paracetamol injection. Do you understand? No, the other way. Paracetamol injection in place of oxytocin. Now imagine that that's an emergency. And they rush, say, okay, this is coming from the best pharmacy, so we know that they always give us what they want. Poops, take his, inject the woman paracetamol. 1 minute, 2 minutes. And there's delay. And the child goes into crisis in the tummy. And when the child is eventually born, he is born deformed. And he starts to grow. And 10, 15 years down the line, your little cousin comes in. This is the woman I want to marry. You say, how come you married a deformed woman? Without knowing that because of your negligence, 15, 20 years down the line, that is why nature is reversing the thing to bring the consequences of your negligence as in payback. So the point is that you guys need to have a story why every day, if we are going to work, you are not just seeing it, I'm here to just sell medicine. Any patient you are attending to, you need to see that, oh boy, this might be my future in-law. Or for the young single ones here, this might be my bonding mate too. Or probably if he's an old man buying this thing, probably he might be the person sponsoring somebody who might be eyeing me from afar. So I better ensure that I treat this man very well, so that whatever business is given to that future husband or that future woman will continue, so that in about 2 or 3 years, when the person is now ready and comes, he's not come because he doesn't have money, because this old man that I'm treating now would have been settling him very well. So the story has to be very strong. The story of baking should be something that anybody that hears it, and any day the person comes to work, so boy, today I want to make a difference. And one of the stories too I always tell myself is, I've watched some of my friends, classmates die. And one day I ask myself, assuming I die today, beyond my immediate family member, how many people would really miss me? Or will it just be that Nigerian population reduced by 1? If you actually die today, how many people will actually miss you? How many people will say, this pharmacist or this logistics person or this admin or that ensure that I'm whole? What I go do? The story is important. The reason is very, very important. If you get the story and get the reason right, every day you are coming to work, you are not going to work just to go to work. You are going to work because you know that my here today is to make an impact. Because whatever I do today will play a very big role on what happens tomorrow. I explained to your people yesterday about a principle called butterfly effect. It's an established law of nature. You can also check it out, butterfly effect. It says that a butterfly can flap its wing in Lagos and set in motion movement of air that causes a tornado in Zaria. Which means you might do something today, and about 10, 15 years down the line, the impact will start to show. But because it started like a butterfly today, you will not relate it to what is happening 10 or 20 years later. I give you a practical example. There's one of the biggest clients that we've got, a billionaire. And for years, when I started posting videos, in fact, I didn't know that he was actually following us. So every time I just do our normal broadcast on WhatsApp, I was doing this thing for like 3-4 years. One day I got a message. Ifeanyi, are you free today? Can you come to my office? Now this was somebody I've not talked to like close to like 8-9 years. So when I saw, can you come to my office? I just assumed that maybe he was trying to send a message to another person and he mistakenly came to me, so I didn't respond. After another day, he asked me, when are you coming? So I now sent a message where, send me your office address. He now sent the office address. I now went to see him. Long story short, we got a business of more than 20 to 30 million from him. This was because we started about 3-4 years ago to post videos consistently to him. The story and the reason. Which brings us to the next is the mission. What are you trying to achieve? The mission is about, our mission, for instance, our counselor is to teach African business owners how to run profitable and sustainable businesses. We want to teach them how to run good businesses. What's the mission statement of Bakins? What's the mission statement of Bakins? Okay, still thinking. What's the mission of Bakins? MD. So we've had how many different versions now? The mission of a company is about what are we trying to do for our customers. So it's more like in the military now. We are going on a mission. What are we going to do? Your mission has to be very clear to you. What are we trying to do for our target market? The people that we are going to interact with, what are we trying to achieve for them? So it's also, which is, the story is more important because the story makes the mission appealing. When I share my story, like one of the things I did was when we were doing our Lagos campus and we had just finished the plastering, I didn't want my people to assume that, this building just came or that it cost one huge money somewhere. So one day I just drove all of them down to the building and I started to share this story with them. And by the time I'd done, they started to see what I was doing in another light. So that any day they are going to work with any business, they know that, oh boy, we really need to get this business running because we don't want somebody to experience the kind of things that our boss experienced. I can tell you that one of the worst things that can happen to a man is to wake up and you don't have money to feed your family. And if by your action, by you not being the best pharmacist that you're supposed to be, a man who is supposed to go and deliver his best doesn't deliver his best, and the revenue that he's supposed to earn that day doesn't come in, and he doesn't take care of his family. And trust Nigerian women now. You think say your wife love you, make money no day, that's why I go clear you. And they start to look at you. Then, when the butterfly effect starts to ripple, the impact might be waiting for you 10-15 years down the line. Like I said, based on the butterfly effect, just free WhatsApp videos that started 3 years set up a ripple effect that when the tornado came about 4 years down the line, they ran into millions. So the mission has to be very clear to everybody that Bakins, this is what we're trying to achieve. This is what we have for our customers. That anybody that thinks about this, that this problem comes to their mind, this Bakins name will jump into their head. So I would suggest, MD, also take out time. Number one is craft your story. Every business can craft a story. Find a way of crafting something that, we are setting this up while we are working. And people felt it wasn't possible. But you know that you needed to make a difference. That if I can do this while still working, nobody can have an excuse. And you too can also rise the way I rose. Did you get? I'm just so for you now to craft the story and find a way. Anytime you go into any this thing, you repeat it. So it gets to a stage, well, so boy, our mission is this, so we must always achieve it. So anytime a customer is walking in, you already know the mission. Then the vision is about where do we see the business? So for us, our vision is to build the biggest business supporting ecosystem in Africa. No, so vision is more like a dream you have while you are awake. The picture of you you see about yourself tomorrow. So you need to have a very clear vision of where you see the business. What's the vision statement of the company? No, it's not true. What's the vision statement of the company? Two versions. The vision statement. MD not fully hard.
No. It's actually incorrect.
Okay. So you people need to know this in so well that you can actually just, even if they wake you up, you should know it. But mostly, even if you don't know the vision, the mission, which is about what you do for your customer, must be extremely clear to everybody. So, it's with your story, your mission, and the vision that you paint the big picture. That this is what we are about. Because your story, your mission, your vision will give you the picture, which is your culture. And your culture is when people come in, they know what to expect from you. If you walk into Sheraton, will you expect to see a woman sitting on a corner, dishing her food to sell to people? But if you go to Yabasira, one by Idado branch, okay, which brand do they have one? They should. They always have one beside any distinct now. So, there are certain things that, you can go to an Iyabasiri and the environment is dirty. You can just clean out space, sit down, and because you know that you expect it. But that same thing, if you walk into Sheraton and you see it, you know that there's something wrong. So it's about building a culture that is wrapped around the story, the mission and vision, such that anybody who comes in and is treated well sees it as normal. There's a place they will treat you well. You look back, oh boy, what are these people planning? But there's a place where you'll be treated well, you feel that it's a normal thing. Even if you come in that particular day and you're not treated well, you just feel that, oh boy, something is missing here. This is not who these people are. So what you want is, if a customer walks in and doesn't get the kind of experience you want, she's not saying that, oh boy, this is their normal way. She's just feeling that something is not right, because I know how I get treated when I come in here. That is the culture. Culture is about, if I come in and I get smiling faces, I know that it's a normal thing to get. But if I go in and I see people just, all their faces, they're like rock, I'll just say, something is wrong, because I know these people, that's not the way they do.